Hey everyone, this is Chris and Sandy Benton with the Chris and Sandy Show. We get up close and personal with some amazing guests throughout the entertainment industry. And today, like I say on every episode, we got a great one for you. Who do we have?
We have Brandon Davis and his wife with us today. His music career launched after a near fatal car accident in 2019, with releases that landed him top spots on the iTunes charts, as well as his mind-blowing story of faith, family, and a wife who pushed him to chase his dreams. It's easy to see why his name quickly spread throughout the country music community. And also, he's going to be setting off on tour this year with Tim McGraw.
And we're excited to have him on and his wife, Destiny. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank y'all so much.
As you see, we're a married couple too. So we always love it when married couples come on. But, y'all are a little more special because of, it just seems like y'all do everything together like we do. So
yeah, for sure.
I don't think there's much that we could do without each other there because I'm the support for her. She's the support for me. And then you got 4 kiddos that we're trying to keep, corralled in at all times.
So as you know, a lot of people, it's been rough for a lot of people this past 18, 20 months with COVID and all that. So I always like to start there. How has COVID affected you through this time? And what have you done to maneuver through it?
The big thing for us is we've been doing a lot of live streaming through TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. And with COVID being as big as it was, it got the kids out of school for a while. And media.
Up, you're back, I think.
Yes.
Well, was. Y'all keep freezing up right now.
Yeah, on our side, it's frozen.
Yeah, I apologize.
There you go.
No problem. You're back.
Yeah, it's got to be this weather. We've never had issues.
Probably impacting. Yep. The snow. Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's the one bad thing about technology. It's really good when it's good.
Absolutely.
And it's really bad when it's not.
Yeah.
So
I think one advantage we kind of had too was we kind of launched this during COVID. So it wasn't like we had the standard we were used to and then all of a sudden everything was upside down. It was like we had to learn and build in that situation. And so as things got better and lightened up some, it's almost like it got a little bit easier because then we had more resources that we didn't originally start with. Yep. So I think that it was kind of an advantage, not having to be like, oh my gosh, what do we do?
Exactly. I mean, when you have a point in time where everyone's on their phones and has a screen in front of them compared to being out in the world each and every day, because, we were all cooped up inside. So what more to do than start plugging in to catch people in a different way?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Y'all froze again.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Nobody can predict the weather, right?
Nobody can.
Lord.
And that's just like for us, we launched this show January of 2020.
We did.
And a couple months before COVID. And our original plan was 100 interviews first year. We thought if we could do that, be a great foundation. And then COVID happens. And I'm looking at everything get shut down. I told Sandy, this may be our way to shine because most people that would say no to a brand new show would probably say yes. And we reached out to everybody. And last year or 2020, we did over 300 interviews and we're over 500 now.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
For sure.
So we definitely owe a lot of COVID to that, even though we can't change it, but we had to do what we had to do to get through it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's what I kind of told him is God had a plan from the beginning. It all happened when it was supposed to happen.
Yep.
So, a lot of people would see the glory in what you do, but I always like to go deeper than that. I like to talk about the other side of it, because of course they don't see the grind, the sacrifice, the tears, the struggles it takes to get through entertainment. And so let's talk a little bit about that. Some of the sacrifices y'all have to go through, especially as a married couple with 4 kids. Let's talk about that some.
Oh, really?
Let me try closing out some of this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. We've got this laptop on this Wi-Fi and nothing else in the entire house. So I'm like, I don't know. So first of all, there is, the 4 kids, which is, we're having to sacrifice some weekends where they can't go with us to shows and stuff like that. But It's been really cool because we've been able to integrate it, take home as much as possible, 2 things. And beyond that, when we met, I already had 2 kids, and we quickly settled down and had 2 more. And it's like we're getting to date now, and we never really got to date before. So like these long road shows, like it's really cool because like we're learning things about each other that we didn't before, and it's been really fun.
Yeah, it's been crazy because going on these road shows, you don't realize being a parent on the day-to-day, you don't realize how it feels to have that alone time and have that kind of where you're usually like, oh, well, I got to make sure I've got this and this and this and this and this done, that the kids are not, killing each other. You turn around and you're like, well, I've got to handle it. I guess we can actually relax for a second. So
go out of survival mode for a little bit and get to wind down. And stuff.
Really you're talking about not getting to date. It's funny because we met online back in 2002, back when it was taboo.
We did.
But we were out. She was in Kentucky and I was in Georgia. But we met on February 2nd of 2002. Talked on the phone February 4th. Set a wedding date February 18th and met in person March 4th. So we were meeting in person to see who we were going to marry. But we spent less than 20 days together face to face.
Yeah, so we got to date
after we were married. I mean, it was definitely a crazy time. So how has all this brought y'all closer together? Because again, what y'all do on TikTok is just awesome. We love watching them. So tell us how all that got started.
I mean, really and truly, it's just filming the day-to-day life and the fact that, I was always running around the house singing a little bit, and my kids love doing it too. But we figured out that, hey, people actually kind of like to hear me sing. And
he didn't want to get on TikTok though.
Oh wow!
At all want to get on TikTok. He was like, "Well, what is it you say?"
She kept saying, "Get on TikTok. There's people that are doing this," and I was like, "Well, I've seen ads for TikTok, and there's people doing like silly dances and trying to be funny. It's like I got dad jokes and 2 left feet. It don't work. Like it ain't for me." And she finally just kind of took a leap of faith and started filming me and said, "Look, I'm going to film you singing. I don't care what you sing.
Oh wow."
I'm going to take the videos and I'm going to do with them what I need to do to see if we can make something." And she got me in the car on the way back from a Father's Day trip that we took up to Pigeon Forge. And I sang a few songs in the car. She wound up posting those unbeknownst to me and had a few hits.
I was like, I'm just going to see if it takes off. If it doesn't, then I won't tell him I posted them. But if it does.
Oh, well.
Come on, man.
Oh. There you are. You're back.
You're trying to fritz out on me. But she come running up saying, "Sing Brad Paisley, sing Dirk Bentley, sing Chris Stapleton."
Oh, okay.
That video was shot off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I waited a little bit for it to shoot off, and I finally was like, "Hey, look, you have this many views, this many followers," and he was like, "What?" And he wanted to sign in, and then he was kind of hooked, and I just kept doing the same thing. And even to now, it's so funny because I'll say, "Hey, baby, like, can you hand me something?" And he's like, "Ready? Like, what? Am I? You got a phone? Like, am I gonna sing?"
I immediately start turning the hat around backwards, and I'm ready to go. So.
Oh wow!
Now, what was that moment like when Tim McGraw was reacting to you singing his stuff?
Oh, we're there? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Really and truly, I don't even know how to describe stuff like that because we had posted a duet with him, and it was amazing because he had commented, and we saw that he was interacting with us among others, and to have someone actually interact with the fact that you've duetted their stuff on a social media platform, that's awesome. And Labor Day comes around, and something like that was always, it's the big song because of that opening line.
Oh,
and
yes.
or she actually looks on Instagram, and we're getting ready for a little get together.
Yeah, we were cooking out. I think I was actually marinating meat, and like I had my phone beside me because I had been working and like never stopped working. And so it's like scrolling through as I'm like pattying the burgers, and I was like, I just got a notification at the top of my screen that Tim McGraw tagged you in something. And he was like,
oh, wow.
Ooh, wow.
I was like, no, like our family was on the way. Like my hands are in hamburger. I'm like, my phone is saying Tim McGraw said something. And he was like, no. And he like called he's got. And I'm running to the sink. And he had reposted the video across all of his social media. Yep. And so that was really cool.
It was nuts.
Wow.
And to see something like that, I mean, that's somebody that I listened to growing up, and now,
yes,
us too.
Us too. Yes, absolutely.
So that was incredible. Moments like that you can't really describe.
Now, what was the moment like when he asked you to come on tour?
Oh, when you got the phone call. Yeah.
That's a whole nother level because that's the phone call you always hope to have and never expect to get. And I'm very blessed to say that we got it. And I picked up the phone, figured out who it was, and I think the only words that came out of my mouth was "Holy crap!"
And absolutely, I think you said absolutely about 20 times.
How did you believe it was him when he called?
Well,
you can kind of tell by the voice.
We had been talking. Well, she had been talking a good bit with his management team behind the scenes, and a little bit of unbeknownst to me, kind of, let's see what we can make happen with this.
Oh, wow.
So it was one of those where she's just like, look, you got to answer this phone call.
So she knew you didn't.
Well, there we go.
What I knew.
Yeah. It's trying to come back.
Yeah, it's trying to. I heard it. Yeah.
But the signal's been rough today. There you are.
Yep, we're trying.
The weather will cooperate. Yeah.
I'm gonna move this scene just a little bit further south here.
Yeah.
There we go.
You said.
Yeah, we always keep ours hardwired in. So.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
No.
I hear you again.
Yeah, we hear you.
We tried.
Yep.
All right.
We understand that.
Oh, we understand. Yeah.
With the weather there and all that.
Yeah, with all the snow, that's definitely going to impact.
Yeah, well, usually I'm up here. I mean, I do Zoom rights and everything else up here and never really have a problem. And today it's deciding to just come in and do its best to hinder the process. So see if we can't.
We understand.
If we've had that happen, again, it don't happen often, but it does happen from time to time.
We roll with it.
We have done so many interviews and it's never happened. And also we have 4 kids running around and usually I'm the one entertaining the kids. So I'm like throwing snacks at the kids.
I understand that. We have 2. We have a 9-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Yeah. Our 2-year-old is the one that's begging for chips. So
that sounds like our Caitlin. She's constantly buying snacks all day long.
So tell us a little bit about the almost fatal car accident, because that started it all, from what I understand.
Yes, sir. I mean, it was a normal day, just trying to, go through the normal routine, gym, work, and right in between gym and work, I was sitting at a red light getting ready to go, and next thing I know, I'm getting hit head on by a distracted driver from the opposite direction.
Oh, wow.
And when I come to, I realize what's happened. I can't get in touch with her. Don't know where my phone is or anything like that. she doesn't hear from me for several hours. I'm gone to the hospital, trying to figure out how to get in touch with her, trying to figure out how to get in touch with my boss. My boss has no idea where I'm at. She realizes that the wreck that everyone's talking about, they keep saying there's a possibility of fatalities. And he finally gets a call from my boss. He says, look, he's usually here on time every day. I never have to worry about it, but he's not here. And I'm worried. I didn't know if you had heard anything or if he'd stayed home, if he was sick. And at that moment, she kind of realized.
I think me and his boss both realized, like, when he called me, he was calling me like, hey, is he there? And like hoping he was there. Because he was like, I've seen this really bad wreck. And immediately my heart sunk because I had seen it too all over Facebook. And I was like, let me call his buddy that he works out with in the mornings because he works out before he goes to work. He made it to the gym. In my mind, obviously he made it to the gym. And if he hadn't made it to the gym, then we had a bigger problem because he'd been missing for like 5 hours, you know, at that point. But I'm like, let me just make sure he made it to the gym. And I called his buddy. He made it to the gym and he left. And at that point, I was like, that's him in the wreck. There's no way that it's not. But also, I was 20 weeks pregnant with our youngest. It had been 2.5 to 3 hours since the wreck happened. And when I was on the phone with his buddy, I was like, I don't understand why I haven't been called. I feel like I should have been called by now. I really think that he's gone, Brady. I was like, I don't think he's here anymore. I don't know why I wouldn't have got a call. And I was calling hospitals and asking them if he was there, and everyone was telling me no. And I called his friend back, and I'm like, I can't get on with anyone. Like, no one has him. And while I'm on the phone with his friend, he actually calls me from his cell phone. And as soon as I heard his voice, I mean, I just dropped. And I remember he was out of it, and he was like, hey, and I was just crying, and he was just trying to tell me like he'd been in a wreck. He didn't even know that I was crying, and I was like, I thought you were dead. Like, it was so surreal. I threw the kids in the car. I took them to my mom's, and I rushed down to the hospital. He was still in the ER there. And they didn't think anything was wrong. They were going to take him for a scan. They were worried about the possibility because they're like, there's so much impact and so much trauma. The entire front end of the car was in his lap. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
They went in for what they thought was going to be just a scan. Through his There was nothing going on, and they came out and told me that his colon was ruptured, and that if they did not perform immediate surgery right then, they didn't think he would make it through the night. And so it was really one of those moments where he was still asleep. He didn't even know, and as his wife, I had to give them permission to operate. And so when he woke up, he was completely out of it. He had no idea what had happened. He had no idea that he almost died. He had no idea of anything. He was very grumpy when he woke up. He was not responding well to anesthesia.
About me and my son have that in common.
But yeah, it was crazy. We were in the hospital for another week and a half. I was 20 weeks pregnant. It was the first time I had ever left the kids ever. His mom had them. I stayed in the hospital. I couldn't imagine leaving him. And then even once we got home, you know, he had been cut all the way down his stomach, and he couldn't walk upright. He needed help with everyday things. It took him weeks to recover. Yeah. And he still has issues from the wreck and stuff that he's working through. So
it's been, it was one of those moments though where after I woke up, I realized what they had to do, what all I had been through, what all was actually, you know, an aftermath of the wreck based on what the doctors had found. And I just looked there, I was like, I don't get it. I was like, why does this have to happen? It's like everything in this world that could have happened. Why did this have to happen? Yeah. And you don't know it now, but one day you'll realize. Yeah. And it'll become clear that there's a reason for this. And I just, at the time I couldn't get it in my head, but I started, you know, trying to keep myself from letting it get me down, and like, how can we spin this and make it something that we can build off of? And I got to tell her, look, I've got a lot of things in life I haven't done yet that I haven't chased after that I want to. And that is me.
That was the catapult.
There we go.
Yeah.
I said, I cannot tell my kids to chase their dreams if I'm not doing so myself.
So the new Cody Johnson song has got to be really personal to you.
Oh, the Till You Can't. Yeah.
You can't. I will say that does hit home. I've always been a big Cody fan.
Because I remember when I first heard that, and it's so true. Because we're chasing the same dream like y'all are, just on a different platform. So it's like, you want this dream, and if we didn't do what we're doing, we wouldn't be where we are.
Yeah,
I agree.
And now tell us how she pushed you through all this, because I know that you talk about that. She's been the pusher to chase your dreams. How did all that? What did she do to kind of say, look, you need to do this?
Well, she said, look, there's no time like now to do it. If we're going to chase it, then let's actually chase it. We started getting local gigs together, and she was helping me try to figure out social media because I didn't have a clue. I mean, I used Facebook because I had little superhero comic groups that I like to look at every now and then, and I might post something once in a blue moon. And she had the brains for it. She went to college and had a lot of experience with business and marketing, and she put that to good use with this because she knew exactly what avenues to start trying to tackle. Even though we really were unsure of how they would pan out, it was the question of, hey, if we don't try it, we don't know what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what she did. She tested these waters and helped me really get my name out there in a way that if I had been doing it by myself, we probably wouldn't be sitting here talking right now.
And I think honestly, before TikTok blew up, I mean, even back in 2019 when the wreck happened, sweet boy, when the wreck happened, it was I want to do this type of thing, but he was still healing from the wreck. And so you helping with what you dude? So I wanted to do this type of thing, but he was healing from the wreck. And by the time we got around to okay, let's try to do this, was COVID in 2020. And so it was like, now how do we do this? Because even the shows that we had booked locally, we didn't know if those were going to continue. And so TikTok was really what it was. And it was a hobby until TikTok. When TikTok blew up, that's when I remember going to him and being like, do you want to try to make this the day job? Do you want to try to make it full time? And even sitting down and being like, let's pray about it. Let's talk about the cons and the pros, because there's going to be a lot of cons too that you get excited and you don't think about in the front end, which is sacrificing some time with the kids, which is being in front of people to be judged or have that scrutiny that comes from that, just being in the public eye. And there was a lot. I mean, we sat down for hours one night and just went through it and was like, is this all worth it? And at the end of the night, we both were like, yeah, let's do this. Let's do whatever it takes. We just kept with TikTok at that point. I tried to start an Instagram. Instagram had its own moment a few months later, and then Facebook had its own moment a few months later. So it's been kind of crazy to watch those different things
from there
on different ones. Yeah, different ones have kind of taken off on different social media, and we're just together brainstorming ideas and coming up with new things and trying to surprise each other and keep each other on our toes. Do the same thing a million times, but still make it creative and fun to watch every single time, basically.
So she's really been your rock, just like Sandy. She's been for me. I went through 19 years of addictions and been sober. God healed me 14 years ago. But the first 5 years of our marriage was hectic for her because of the addictions. But she never nagged me, put me down, none of that. She always loved me in spite of the addictions. And sometimes people will say when they hear our story, oh, she allowed you to walk over her. And that's just not true. She allowed me to experience God's pure love through her. And I can tell that that's the kind of relationship y'all have.
It's been unbelievable, the journey we've had to get here, but I wouldn't have walked it with anybody else. So
I feel the same way. Now, as you know, a lot of people, they see y'all as the front people, but they don't see teams behind y'all. In our opinion, teams never get the love they deserve. And I don't care if it's a team of one or a team of 300 like Justin Bieber has.
Team matters.
Team matters. So take a few moments to tell us what your team is and how they help you.
So I mean, for the longest time, our team has been us, and we've been very fortunate for that because we've been able to play off the fact that we know each other's day-to-day life. We know each other's schedule. We know what works, what doesn't. We know when each other needs to, take a break, take a rest, or, when we need to ramp up and keep going, or when we need to push each other just that little step farther. And now I've got a publishing deal with Big Yellow Dog, and thankfully they've got a team of folks that are able to be there for support on the, the industry side that we're still getting our feet wet on, because each day we've learned in this industry, you learn something new. And, just when you think you actually know just the word, they come in and say, yeah, you don't know nearly as much.
Especially during COVID.
It's been a game changer because I've got a lot of, the old ways that have been preached to me through my dad, because he tried making it in music years ago. And he'll come and say, hey, you need to be doing this and this, because back when I was doing this is what they were asking me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just trying to adapt.
Right.
Yeah, because I think that's what people forget nowadays. When you add social media into the mix, it's a whole different ballgame.
Whole different ballgame with social media.
Yeah. And speaking of teams, we have a third co-host.
Yes, we do.
Our 9-year-old that we allow to ask a few questions.
He's
about to be 10 next week. So Sandy's gonna go get him.
Yeah.
And we've got a almost 3-year-old that when she gets older, she'll be plugged in the show too, because we are a family affair.
Oh, heck yeah. That's nice.
So that way over here too.
Trust me, that's the way it rolls behind this camera every single time, because I've got Spider-Man over here that loves to join in. He's on nearly every co-write we do, and and all the other ones that like to just pop in and out of TikTok videos.
Little man that's been popping in and out during this video was actually sitting in Brandon's lap when he recorded what Cowboys are for. We didn't think that he was recording the main vocal. We thought it was just going to be a demo, and the guys ended up surprising us and coming back with that full thing. And it's so funny. I have so many pictures and videos, and Brandon's just singing the lead vocals while he's got the toddler in his lap. So
that's really
that's like when we first launched this show. It was audio, not video, so we were on phones. And there were many times where Sandy would have to unmute because she would be cleaning a butt on Caitlin while we're in the middle of an interviewing people.
Usually I'm downstairs wrangling the kids or we started taking interviews at like 9:30 at night past bedtime, because then we're good. So hi.
How's it going, man?
Hi, Brandon. So what's your favorite food?
Favorite food, I would have to say, is hibachi, and that's any hibachi. That could be chicken, steak, shrimp, you name it, and I'm there as long as it's hibachi.
And yours?
Oh, mine is pizza.
And
pizza is very good. Yeah, I have to agree. I think pizza is my favorite as well.
Oh yeah,
pizza's our favorite too.
Pizza's probably our go-to meal for the family.
Yeah, for sure.
He'd eat it all day long if we fed it to him.
that's the kiddos too, and that's the way he is with hibachi. He would every day, all the time.
I don't think I'd fit on this camera screen if I did. So I have to watch it.
Okay, so what's your favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show? I would have to say right now it is Titans, because I'm a superhero nut. So Titans on HBO Max. It's all about the Teen Titans from the comic books. What about you?
Oh, mine is SpongeBob.
SpongeBob? Yeah. I love SpongeBob.
We both grew up on SpongeBob.
Yeah.
And they still got new ones coming out.
That's
really?
Crazy.
That's
crazy.
New ones.
That is crazy that show has been on that long. I mean, I guess there's several. So.
And,
awesome.
And what's been cool is because our show is not just for artists, but also actors and actresses. And he watches a lot of Nickelodeon Disney shows. We've been able to bring on quite a bit of actors and actresses from his shows onto our show.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is great.
So that's been fun for him, of course.
Yeah. My daughter's she can't wait to meet JoJo Siwa. So that's like, she's in her ear every day.
We have tried to get her Well, they keep saying that she's really too busy right now, which we understand that. I mean, she is like really busy. So maybe one day we'll have her on the show.
Yeah, you'll have to let our daughter three-way in the call.
Okay, so what's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I'm going to have to say it's another superhero one, but it's probably going to be Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Ah. And what's yours?
Mine is the Minions movie.
Oh, they're froze.
The Minions movie. I love the Minions movie.
The kids love that. I think we've watched it a lot of times.
Yeah, they have built such a strong brand with the Minions. I tell you, we could be walking in the mall and our almost 3-year-old daughter, Caitlin, if she sees them in a store, we have to go in.
That's how our little one is with Spider-Man. He
Yes.
He believes in Spider-Man. Can't tell him different. He won't wear clothes.
Yeah, I can't get him in normal clothes unless I tell him they're his Peter Parker clothes.
Yeah.
So,
We had to even dress up for Thanksgiving, and we had to tell him that was Peter Parker because it didn't have Spider-Man. So his dress shirt was Parker shirt.
All right, bye. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was good meeting you.
Yeah, he loves to be on the show. In fact, we're planning on starting him a podcast in the summer of not next year, but this year, summer, fall, somewhere in there, where it's going to be 10 minutes with Chris.
Yeah,
Heck
that'd be
yeah.
awesome.
Right. So, what are some sources of inspiration for you both?
I mean, for me, it's family and everything around us, because the kiddos, watching them grow each and every day, and especially now that like my daughter's trying to write songs, my 4-year-old, he's writing songs, even though I think he writes the same song over and over again with different words, but he to him he's writing a bunch of different songs, and he's grabbing anything he can record it down on tablets and everything else. But that's what drives me, because the day-to-day life with family, that is what helps. That's what helps fuel this music, because if you listen to what we've got, it's got incorporated in almost every song.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And what would you like? Oh, yes. Go ahead.
The kids, just in general, knowing that watching their dad chase his dreams will always make theirs a little more obtainable.
And that's important. I think one thing I've learned is the best way to inspire your kids to chase their passions and dreams is for them to see you doing it, because they have a front row seat to it.
Absolutely.
Because if they see you give up, then they're going to give up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we try to be the best role models we can, which we all fail every now and then, and we all get frustrated.
Mm-hmm. And what would you like for your legacy to be in the music industry? What would you like to be known and remembered for?
Just for being someone that poured his heart into the music and really gave people something that they could connect with. Because that's what my dad always told me was important with the song, is that you need to put a good story. Because he said people aren't going to care what the track in the background's playing. They're not going to care whether it's fast or slow. They want to know whether or not this song resonates with them, whether it's a party song, a love song, a breakup song. They want something that they can connect with. And I'm hoping that come the end of this, everyone can say, I feel like what he's put out and what he's written and what he's released is stuff that speaks to me.
Oh, awesome. Love that. And if you could say anything to your fans and followers, what would you want to tell them?
Main thing is that I thank them for all the support, because if it weren't for them, we wouldn't have anything to do. Without fans and without followers and people that are sharing, commenting, showing up to these live shows and, keeping this thing fueled, we wouldn't have music to play. You can't play it for just yourself. If you do it for just yourself, you're obviously, you're back to being nothing but a hobby player. But
right.
The fact that we have so many people that are loving and supporting us, and it has been spread so wide, not only in the U.S., but other countries too. So many people that reach out and tell us how much they love our music. That's been astounding, and it's been breathtaking. and we're just blessed beyond measure. So if it weren't for the fans, there wouldn't be an us.
Love that.
Mhm.
You know, back in 2015, we got to interview Kelsey Ballerini before she was Kelsey, so to
Yeah.
speak. And one of the questions I asked her was where she wanted to be in 5 years. And I always like to tell this story before I ask the guests that same question, because the answers Kelsey gave us back then is to the T of what she's living now. I mean, this girl
She had
knew
it all
where
planned
she was
out,
going,
for sure.
and nothing was going to stop her. So knowing that, where do you and y'all want to be in 5 years?
In 5 years, I'd like to be at the point. There we go.
Yeah.
I would love the opportunity to actually join the Opry and be a part of that.
Oh, yeah.
And I would love to know that I've taken my music and toured across this country and showed everyone exactly what we're about. And putting this thing at a whole new level is what we try for every single day. And if in 5 years down the road we have taken it to a level to where we went from, even if it's just from what we are now to a small step above, we've come farther than what I ever could have. And that's amazing. But we're reaching for the stars and hoping and praying that we get there. But got to keep people, showing them that we're here for the right reasons so that we can make it a long way.
Yep, and for the long term, of course.
Yes, sir.
So if you could co-write with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be?
Merle Haggard.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's a great
good
one. Yes.
Now, this probably has 1,000 answers, but just think of
at
the first
least,
one
yeah.
that comes to mind. But what's a song you've heard that you wish you wrote?
Oh, man. A song I heard that I wish I wrote. So one of them is probably "Sing Me Back Home" by Merle Haggard.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a thing and the story that it's telling and the kind of moral that's behind it. That's always struck me.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So, so as we start to close out here, if you had a friend of yours that was just getting started, they know that they're called to music and they're good. They got everything it takes. What advice would you give that specific person to kind of help guide them the next few years?
Honestly, my biggest point of advice would be just to follow your heart, because that's a question we get asked a lot more often than what you would think. And it's, there's no guidebook, no step-by-step instruction to say, hey, do this, 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 and this, and you're going to be successful and you're going to.
And if there was, it wouldn't work.
Exactly. And there's no guaranteed recipe for, success in this. I just mainly say, look, follow your heart, because if this is something you want and you love, chase it, but don't just say, hey, I want to do this and not actually do it. Because if you don't hustle for it, if you don't put in your full effort and give it the time and attention it takes to make sure that people know, hey, this is who I am, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to make it happen, then it's a lot harder to be heard. So that's putting yourself out there to make sure everyone knows that this is your passion, this is where you want to go, and that's what helps bring it to the next level.
Love that, because again, there's what people don't realize. There's so much sacrifice and struggles involved that it's just not worth it if you're not all in.
Yeah,
I completely agree.
I don't think it'll work if you're not all in. If you're not putting everything into it, you're not going to get the products out that you would if you were putting it all into it. So I don't think that it'll work unless you go all in. And you got to trust God. Trust God to have your back and have a plan, and show Him that it's all yours. Do what you want with it, and that's what got us where we're at. So
yeah, very fortunate.
Love that. So as we close out, tell everybody how they can find y'all and any parting words.
So if you want to find us, you can go to any social media platform, TikTok or Instagram, or both, that handles Brandon Davis _music. Facebook, just search for Brandon Davis. And same with YouTube. Just search for Brandon Davis, and you will find all our social medias. There's links on each one of those pages that lead you to our website, as well as places to stream music, where we're going to be on tour. And if you want to find another way to access those, you can go to BrandonDavisMusic.com. That's also where you'll find tour dates and merchandise. And aside from that, go to any streaming platform, and type in Brandon Davis and start streaming those songs, because they're all out there for the whole world to hear.
And more are coming for sure. We got lots of new stuff.
We aren't
planned for
slowing
you guys
down.
this year.
If there's one thing I want everyone to hopefully take away from the team that we've got here, is that this is a team that, between me and her, we push every day. We don't stop. And what that means for the music is that we're trying to get as much out as we can, and we're not going to let it slow down. So when people ask for new music, they never have to sit there and wait too long.
Oh, that's
Love
great.
that.
Love that.
We really enjoyed having you on the
We
show
did.
today, and we definitely look forward to having you back.
Yeah, sorry for all the technical troubles.
The wind
Oh, I
downstairs
understand.
for the kids to snack, and the wind is so heavy that it's just. I'm surprised we have power. So we made it through.
Knock on wood.
Now, like I said,
Yes,
we enjoyed it, and you're
we
welcome back
did.
anytime.
It was fun. Absolutely.
Thank y'all so much.
You have a great
All
day.
right. Thanks for your